Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Regen BioPharma Inc. It trades on the OTC Pink sheets under the symbol RGBP and RGBPP, and is a publicly traded biotechnology company focused on the immunology and immunotherapy space, rapidly advancing novel technologies through preclinical and phase 1 and 2 clinical trials and small molecule therapies for treating cancer and autoimmune disorders. Please welcome the president and CEO, David Koss, as well as senior scientific consultant, Harry Lander. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Oh, good morning. Or I guess it's good afternoon back there.
People are all over the world, so you can hit all three if you need.
Oh, there we go. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to give a brief update on the company, and we're going to discuss recent intellectual property that we filed patent applications on. I have received constantly questions about whether or not we're going to be uplisting Regen BioPharma, if I have an interest in seeing that happen. Well, I think the obvious answer is yes, we want to see that happen as soon as possible, but we have to make sure that we qualify for the level that we would like to uplist to. And so as we're reviewing that, we're going to make a determination what we need to do in order to achieve that goal. So in the meantime, we're very much focused on developing our intellectual property, and we're adding patents to the mix as they're appropriate to supporting the existing intellectual property. So with that, we're going to get into questions about this recent patent application that we filed and announced last week. And I'll turn it back over to Anna, and she can ask Harry the questions.
Perfect. Okay. So I see that Regen has filed another patent application last week. So speak about it and describe how it furthers the company's mission.
David, can I grab that one?
Yeah, that's you.
Sure. Okay. I'm happy to answer it. So, right. We did file a new patent application last week. It's actually, the intellectual property is really an extension sort of and further use of one of our earlier published patents on mRNA technology. We have one that's targeting survivin. Survivin is a protein molecule that's expressed on solid tumors, on many different solid tumors, but not on normal cells. So that makes it, really interesting to the scientific community, because you would think that you could then use that molecule to target tumors and spare healthy normal tissue. So our original patent that we have issued is an mRNA technology that uses dendritic cells that are pulsed with this survivin mRNA, and then that's used to as sort of a priming mechanism for these dendritic cells to go then and activate the immune system to focus on these survivin-containing tumor cells. And there are many ongoing clinical trials using survivin, about 20. Well, maybe that's not considered many, but it's a lot. So there are about 20 ongoing clinical trials. So it's clearly a very interesting molecule to the scientific community, to the biotech community. The IP that we just filed extends that by taking dendritic cells and pulsing them with the mRNA, but then isolating their exosomes. So dendritic cells, cancer cells, many cells secrete what are called exosomes. These are lipid particles that they form inside the cells, and then they release them. And these particles contain DNA, RNA, protein, whatever sort of in the cell. It sort of grabs it and is released. So our patent takes mRNA for survivin, expresses it in the cell, and that gets caught up in these exosomes, and these exosomes then are used as a vaccine. And in addition, we can genetically modify the dendritic cells to produce immune stimulatory proteins which is sort of straightforward technology, or cancer inhibitory molecules, and those will also get packaged in these exosomes. So we have these packaged exosomes that contain the survivin, that contain potentially also immune stimulatory proteins, and then we use that as a cellular vaccine approach. But instead of just using the cells, as in our earlier patent, we use the exosomes, which is a new sort of a new field and very, very interesting. So those are the advantages of it, and I think this IP really sort of expands our existing portfolio around survivin, and the fact that we have all these ongoing clinical trials, to me is very exciting.
Yeah. So is survivin being targeted by other biotech companies?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as I said, these clinical trials, people are trying to use survivin to target tumors in different ways. But some of these trials are in late phases, late phase 2, I would say, with excellent results, and which is great for us. I think if one of these approaches turns out to be successful and in a phase 3 trial, then our mRNA dendritic vaccine, both the earlier patent that was issued as well as this new patent application, I think it would be likely very interesting to biotech and large pharma companies, because a successful phase 3 sort of gives the green light to sort of the whole industry to start using this technology, and it generates a lot of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. So if Regen had the resources to develop its survivin technologies, would you prioritize it above other programs?
That's a good question. So, to me, our three most commercially appealing technologies is D-cell Vax, which I've mentioned in prior discussions, DuraCar, which I mentioned relatively recently, and this survivin program. Those to me are the three top ones. If you recall, D-cell Vax is also a dendritic cell approach, but there we're inhibiting indoleamine dioxygenase, IDO, which allows those dendritic cells to become very activated, and perhaps we could combine the two. So it's so D-cell Vax, and we already have an IND submitted with the FDA, so that's sort of closest to the clinic. I would probably prioritize that. And then we have, of course, the NR2F6 inhibited CAR T cells, the DuraCar program, which we're getting data readouts this year. Not clinical data readouts, but preclinical data readouts. And if those all go well, that will, in my opinion, be sort of something pretty hot. I don't know. So I guess to answer your question, I would prioritize DuraCar, and then the dendritic cell, both the D-cell Vax and then the survivin program. Yeah.
Thank you, Harry. Keith Miller wants to know, are there any updates with regard to any of the ongoing ONPH collaborations?
Not anything that I can disclose at this point. It's really driven by them and how fast they decide to move the program forward. We, as the company that licensed the technology to ONPH, we don't have any control over how fast they develop the product. And in fact, I probably am due to check in with them to see if they have any updates for us.
Okay, great. And are you open to a buyout? And at what valuation would you think is fair?
Oh, well, $1 billion would be nice, but no, I don't know that. I don't really feel comfortable talking about buyouts at this point. I think that anything that pops up that represents any kind of business combination beyond the current situation has to be vetted thoroughly, and I think that it's premature for any kind of a discussion in that area.
No problem. We are out of time. We've got lots of questions for you, so we'll send them to you so you can answer on your own. But do you have any closing remarks?
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity that we have here to present Regen and its various components. And I know that when we get into a discussion of the intellectual property, it can be a little confusing. So anybody that has questions that feels weren't addressed at a level that they can understand, and not everybody's a scientist. So just please send them on to the company. We're happy to incorporate that at the future presentation we're going to do.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us again. We hope to see you again in the future with more updates.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
All right, everyone, we've had a great conference. I want to thank everyone who has presented and all of our viewers from around the world. Remember that in just a moment, you're going to be redirected to the registration page for our next conference in 2 weeks. So reserve your spot early. On behalf of all of us, thank you for making this such a great success today. Remember that a complete replay of the conference by company will be made available on the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. Subscribe there and follow us on Twitter @Emerging Growth C. On behalf of myself and everyone who came today to make this such a great success, we wish you a happy, healthy, and wealthy rest of the week. We'll see you in 2 weeks back at our conference. Thanks, y'all, for watching.